you know? Like,
yeah, brother.
woo. Woo. All right, we're on Storyteller at Oak Mountain State Park. It is right behind me, right there, all right? I'm gonna go up to the top and look at it. You'll see these two pylons right here, these two cones. The rider's gonna go right between them. And we see this advanced feature ahead sign. All right, so to take the line that I have done and had the only success with, because it's the only line I've ever tried, you're gonna cut off the main line just a little bit over here where all this vegetation's grown up. You're gonna round the corner. You see my cone right there. You're gonna go right over that rock or right beside it, right onto that cone. And you're gonna go to that cone. You're just gonna miss this big rock here to the side. You're gonna ride right over that cone. You're gonna go right up the spine. So there's a little natural spine on that. So right where the cones are. And you're gonna crest the top and you're gonna drop right down in between those cones. And then you're gonna go on out where the other two cones are and make your corner. Now, you are really, this is another one of those situations that I've talked about so many times. You wanna go slow, but you don't wanna go too slow. And this is probably the hardest part of this, is the fact that you have to go up onto that rock and then down. If it was just smooth and level and you just rode down it, it would not be nearly as hard. But what makes this so hard is you don't want to go so slow up it that you stall out and fall off the backside of it. But you also don't want to go so fast that your bike's taking air off the back, because then you're going to hit really hard on the backside. I've always been scared that I'll come up it too slow and stall out, or maybe at the very last second grab my brakes and, you know, start to chicken out. And I'll have such little speed that my front wheel will dive one way or the other, and I'll go off towards that tree down there or go off towards that rock and really get hurt. So I always make myself go a little bit faster than what I need to get over the top, which gets rid of that problem of falling off of this, but it adds another problem of being in the air too long and hitting down there at the bottom too hard. I've watched some of the videos, and my wheels, if you slow them down, my front and rear wheel are off the ground almost 3/4 of the whole feature. It's because I'm going just a tad too fast. To really get it dialed, I'd want to slow it down just a little bit, but not too much. Everyone says, oh, it looks like such a harsh landing. Well, it's actually it's not nearly as harsh as what it looks. All right, I walked back up to where it says advanced feature ahead, because I want to show you the other line that one other person has done. My friend Javier, and he's the one who's actually guinea pigged this this feature, which, man, whenever you guinea pig something, that is so hard to do, because when people watch and see what happens, they learn so much. So he guinea pigged this, and he's helped me move a lot of rocks around, big rocks, and to make this feature work. And also, I know Trey and the other guys who were at the bump work day when we were working on this, they also did a lot of heavy lifting too. So it's definitely a community built this. Hey, there's a really cool story about how this feature came into play that I'm going to put at the very end of this video, in case you're not interested in that and you just want the tech tip. But I want to share it because it's really cool. It's the reason why this is my favorite feature really anywhere in the world. It's because of how it came about. and plus how intimidating it is. So anyway, my buddy Javier, he comes in and he actually takes this inside line over here. You can see my line out there. My line is, the advantage of it is it's straight. The disadvantage is there's a lot of crap going on before, which can mess you up, right? If that were all smooth, but there's just all kinds of rocks and stuff. I've crashed up here before because I got hung up in the rocks because I was paying so much attention to the actual feature that my hands got too heavy and my feet got too light and I went over the bars. It was kind of embarrassing. I did it one time in front of a class, but then got back up, did it again, did the feature. But it just goes to show you that the entry is not easy. But anyway, what he does is he comes on the inside, and I've never done this because to me, I think it's way scarier. But he comes on the inside here. The advantage is, look how smooth it is right here, right here. It's super smooth here. So yes, he's definitely got an advantage of it being smoother as opposed to see that stuff I'm having to go through. But the disadvantage and what I think makes it more complex is he enters it at an angle and he has to turn right where that pylon is, or right where that cone is. See how he kind of rolls up and then he turns his bars and goes right on down. I think it's scarier because whenever you're turning into a feature, you automatically ratchet up the difficulty. But anyway, two different lines there. Yeah, I'm definitely retired from this, but I definitely want to pass on the knowledge that we've learned from this for the younger generation of shredders, because I know there's a lot of young guys out there who want to hit this. Some I've even worked with, and I just want to give you guys the tips because I doubt I'm going to be come up here teaching this anymore. I want to get it on video for you guys. All right, so I'm walking up to the side of it. Here's the main line that everyone's taking that is still not easy. It's definitely a black line for sure. The alternate pro line is right here beside it. You can see it's got some pitch to it. You get to the side there. It's got so much pitch that you can't, like when you're at the top of it, you can't see a good portion of it because it's so steep. We originally had it over here. You can see where we were riding it, but we moved it because it looked like it was going to put people into that rock there, and we didn't want anybody to get hurt. And plus, it wasn't the steepest part of the rock. This is the steepest, so we moved it over. And also, over on this side, little trail building things that we learned, can you see that rock right there? This one that's right there? You can't dig that out. So there was a concussion in here that would really almost like whiplash you. I did it like a year after my back surgery, and it hurt my back just hitting that area right in there. So we moved it in here, built this up that we don't have to deal with that rock. It was safer, it was taller, and yeah, so that's why it's there. The story about why this is my favorite feature in the world. I'm kind of sentimental. If you want to stop listening to me, this is the time to stop, because there's no more tech tips on this. This is just sentimental reason why I like this feature more than any others. Number one, I helped to build it as part of a team. Number two, it's freaking scary. Number three, you go back about 4 years or so before we were able to build this trail. Two other guys, Chuck Lewis and Carl Peters, and I were asked by Bump to come out here and flag with a GPS system. And we walked right by the top of this, right over the top of it. And we were flagging down that direction around. Well, fast forward 4 years, and he asked me one day if I'd come out and flag with him, and I couldn't because I was getting over some back surgery. I couldn't come out here and walk. So I was kind of disappointed because I wanted this feature to be tied into the trail, and it couldn't be tied in if it was way off the trail somewhere. So I'm healing up for a year. The group is working on the trail, and lo and behold, I'm finally able to come out here and give a little bit of a hand. And guess what? It's actually flagged right by the feature right here. Instead of on top of it, it's flagged just on top of it and beside it. So it was like, it was perfect. It was almost like God said, hey, remember that feature you're excited about? I'm going to give it to you. So anyway, that's the reason why it's my favorite. All of those combined. It's hard, it's intimidating, it's beautiful, teamwork building it, and the hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of acres. It ended up right in line of the trail that two different groups worked on. And just think, if it was just 100 yards one way or the other, or even 25 or 30 yards, we wouldn't be able to use it. So that's why I really like it. Anyway, yeah, give me some questions or comments in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. I hope these tech tips have been helpful, and see you on the trail.